Hello! Welcome back to my channel. Hi if you're new here, hi if you're not. Today we have another scam story submission, which we're gonna get right into. If you have a scam story you want me to read out here on the channel, the form to which you can submit your scam story is linked down below. Shout out to the channel VIP members before we get started, as well as Harrison, Tom, Suzanne, Juan, and Zurify in the billionaire tier. If you're interested in getting rich, click that join button down below, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and let's go ahead and jump right in. Oh my God, this story is a doozy. Grab your snacks, grab your water, grab your coffee. I got my water. I'm also a little bit sick, so if I sound weird, that's what's going on. Let's go ahead, get into the story. Ooh. I, 31 female, wanted to share something with you because I don't know what to do. This whole life coaching, spiritual guru, and manifestation thing hasn't really affected me directly, but it has affected my mom, which I think is harder to accept. If I were ever in this situation, I would probably process my mistake quite fast, but since it's my mom and I care about her, it bothers me, and I think about it almost every day. Anything I say, she always has a response to everything. Anything she says sounds like the boss girlies from your TikTok videos you watch on your channel or the mastermind classes, etc. I wish I could show her your videos, but she's Polish and her English is not too good. I couldn't find any content in Polish that shows people that this is a scam. Poland is a little bit behind with everything, so manifestation, spirituality, and life coaching are going through their golden era right now, making it harder to discredit them. If you are new to my channel, I will link a playlist with over 100 videos right here where I discuss business coaching scams, life coaching scams, share tons of examples, and all that kind of thing. If you yourself have someone in your life that you want to convince to get out of a scam, you can show them those videos. She lives in the UK, and I recently moved to Norway with my husband. I don't speak with her on a daily basis, but I know she still believes in all that BS. She watches a lot of content on YouTube, and now and then she also pays for some video calls and other programs. I don't know how much money she spends on it, but we're not rich. She has a minimum wage job and not enough hours, so she has to support herself with additional government benefits. She's always been a bit irresponsible with her decisions, and I kind of became the father of our household since she's a single mom of 3 and I'm the oldest child. She went to therapy many years ago as the child of an alcoholic and a wife/partner of 2 more men in her life. But that was like 15 years ago. I can see she still carries a lot of trauma from her childhood, and I feel like that's why she was an easy target for these grifters. She cries a lot and has started talking to herself or even screaming in the backyard. She says she needs to release her trauma and that it helps her. She believes she has to go back to her past and process all of it, etc. It's very difficult for my brothers and me to watch all of this. First of all, before we continue, I just want to express that if you're watching this video, I am very, very sorry that you have found yourself in this situation. And I just want to take a moment to point out the fact of something that comes up in a lot of the content that I discuss here on the channel. And that's the concept of a lot of these gurus, if you will, in my opinion, tend to really focus on exploiting people's traumas, people's vulnerabilities in order to shill whatever course, program, offer that they're selling. It sounds to me, and obviously I only know what you've written to me, but it sounds to me as though your mother was in quite a vulnerable position when she found herself opening up to the sort of personal development, self-help industry. And it's those types of people who are vulnerable, people who are seeking reprieve from any kind of suffering that they're facing or solutions to some type of problem that they're experiencing. Those are the type of people that become excellent victims for these types of, in my opinion, scammers to prey on. Because these people can walk in acting as though,
I have the perfect solution for you. You should buy whatever it is I'm selling and I'll solve all your problems.
and so I can see how it would be really easy for her if she was in a position where she was just trying to resolve some of those issues that she's experienced over her lifetime, how easy it would be to want to believe that someone is going to be able to help you out of there. So I have a lot of empathy for both your mom who's in this position, but also you for having to kind of see it from the outside perspective and deal with the aftermath of all of this. And for those of you that are watching that have maybe been in a similar position where a loved one has sort of fallen prey to these kind of schemes, if you have any helpful tips or advice of how you've dealt with it, maybe you could consider sharing it in the comments down below. I think whatever content she consumes or whoever she speaks to is putting her back into the past and making her relive it over and over again, using her trauma as an infinite source. As long as she has memories of her past, someone can use it and transform it into a never ending cycle, convincing her that she still has to process it even though she doesn't. She doesn't want to go to therapy, mostly because she can't afford it. I would help her if I could, but we spent all our savings to start a new life in Norway. We still live in a room in a shared house, and recently my husband was on sick leave for about 2 months. Now I'm on sick leave for over 2 months already. The healthcare system here is really slow, and it's possible that I have 2 undiagnosed autoimmune diseases. I'm just waiting for final results, but both specialists said they're 90% sure I have them. Okay, I also want to take the point here to address something that I've discussed. Specifically, I went into it in depth in this video here, but it's something that, again, has come up a number of times on the channel, and it's this idea of coaches essentially not understanding their scope of work and stepping outside of the boundaries. I just want to say, for the record, and yes, I'm just a girl on the internet who happens to own a microphone and a camera, but I just want to say, for the record, taking a 2-day, 1 week, even 1 month certification to become trauma informed does not qualify you to help people work through their trauma. And all too often, I see coaches stating, advertising, making videos on the internet, basically saying or actively doing, from conversations I've had with people, that they can help you heal your trauma. And again, if you are a coach, it is not your job to help people resolve traumas. You can be trauma informed. You can know how to actively coach if someone has experienced trauma, but you're not touching that trauma. Don't touch it. I'm so sick of hearing stories of people who have had seriously traumatic circumstances, experiences in their life, go to a coach who claims to be able to help them heal their trauma, who then only puts them in an even worse off position. Even therapists that actually are licensed and credentialed to help people work through their trauma, trauma-specific therapy is a niche focus that requires additional training. It requires additional education. It's not something to be taken lightly. And I just think that all too often I hear horrible, horrible stories of coaches without the experience, without the understanding, without the knowledge, putting people in some really dangerous and just unsettling positions. So I just wanted to add that in there before we continue. And of course, what does my mom say to that? You can probably guess. We get what we give out to the universe. When she says it to me, she's not trying to be mean or anything. She genuinely says it from a place of compassion. It's just that she's been to all this BS for quite a few years now, and she's totally brainwashed. Anything I ever say, she corrects me, saying I shouldn't say that word or say it that way because it's negative and I will ruin something. She also believes anything they say about science, anything to do with quantum physics, genetics, cells, stress, biology, consciousness, subconsciousness, the universe, energies, frequencies, and all of that. Okay, so your mother is now telling you that your autoimmune disease is something that you manifested. Oh my goodness. We covered this, I believe, briefly in my video about why I don't believe manifestation is real. So if you haven't seen that, I would encourage you to go watch it. But I mean, this is a trope we see all too often across the coaching industry. This idea of like, if you want to be wealthy, you have to believe you can be wealthy and you're going to call it in just by believing that you deserve it. And if you don't get results, it's because you didn't believe hard enough. And anything that doesn't go favorable for you is because of your own thoughts and your own conditioning. And yes, I am all for positive thinking, believing in ourselves, working towards the things we want. But if you're going to tell me that everything negative that happens in my life is because of my own thoughts, I'm going to tell you to kick rocks, okay? This is truly awful, and I'm so sorry that this was your experience. I agree that some good has come out of it. Firstly, she actually started working on herself, which has resulted in her getting better mentally. She's managed to rid herself of anxiety and depression, leading to better physical health as well. She eats better and moves more. She has problems with her joints and back, and that has gone away. Obviously, she credits manifestation, but it's obvious that you can take care of your health, then surprise, surprise, your body will thank you for it. Because of that, I don't know if it's better for her to believe in all of that and feel better overall. There's still the issue of her unresolved trauma. She needs to go through it with a real therapist. Her change has made our little family unit grow apart. My youngest brother is still trying to reach her, but he says he's given up. The other brother stopped trying a long time ago. They're both adults now, 20 and 26. and both grounded in reality. Although one is at that age when he's exploring other unconventional possibilities, he usually talks to me about this stuff because I accidentally instilled in him a thirst for knowledge since he was young and I was the role model in our household. But talking to my mom is very difficult nowadays and very different from how it used to be. We were always pretty close, and we knew we could talk to her about everything. She has always been a hippie mom, and we were the black sheep in our family. But we've come to terms with that. We used to have long conversations with each other, maybe not my 26-year-old brother, he's more quiet and distant. But we used to be pretty strong together. You know, ape alone weak, apes together strong kind of thing. But now that doesn't apply anymore. She even believes when people on YouTube say that if you listen to the song, there's a hidden message coded in it that will work on your subconscious. And then it's just a random Ariana Grande song with maybe someone added some kind of additional sound to it at a very low volume, along with some affirmation or binaural beats or something. I know binaural beats can have positive effects, but you're supposed to listen to them in headphones. But these are different. These are songs maybe someone edited and then made people believe they work on your subconscious. Kind of like those weird manifestation videos for teenagers to watch to race swap, have more Asian look, change your eye color, etc. There's so much trash on YouTube now, I barely trust any of it. And especially not the coded messages that you can't hear because they would be conscious, but they're there and only your subconscious can hear it. Give me a bloody break. She also believes that pain symptoms or diseases will tell you what kind of trauma you have. For example, if you have an illness, it's because when your mother was pregnant, she was stressed and, let's say, had a husband who is an alcoholic, so she wasn't sure if it was safe to have this baby. This is giving Louise Hayes vibes. I'll pop that book up on the screen if you're not familiar. Ay. She thought it might be better if they weren't born, so then they're born with some kind of illness in their genes because they were unwanted. Or you have problems with your eyes because maybe when you were a child, you saw your parents doing the dirty and that traumatized you, so now you have eye problems because in your subconscious, you wish you hadn't seen it. I can't remember what this BS is called. She also keeps talking about duality as well, and that every emotion we have stays in our physical body, so if it's negative, it will manifest as a physical thing like a tumor, cancer cells, etc. I'm aware that stress and stuff like that can affect you physically, but she means literally. Everything you're going through manifests physically around you and inside you, and she talks about things that clearly she doesn't understand how they actually work in real life or according to science. I will say that this isn't necessarily unique. I definitely know of multiple people who also believe in this kind of rhetoric and philosophy, if you will. Talking is a big word, though. Very often, she doesn't even explain what she means. She just tells us words that have no meaning to us or have different meanings here in the real world. She says she can't tell us. We have to discover it ourselves, start working on ourselves, and we will find the answer. She does that all the time, and it's probably why our conversations are never productive. She's so deep in the rabbit hole that I don't know if there's anything I can do. She's part of a cult, and we can't get her out. We tell her how real science works, but she thinks she knows better because they talk about science as well and new discoveries. Our conversations aren't conversations anymore. One side is trying to convince the other that they're right. I'm not asking you for advice per se. I just wanted to share this because sometimes it's more than just losing money. For us, it's losing our parent that we love and it hurts. And she's aware, but what's the response? They always say in these videos or books that when you start your path of change, people around you will hate it because they know you as broken. So they prefer to have you broken. I don't prefer to have my mom broken. I would love to see her go to real therapy and fix her issues. It's you pseudo mentors who broke my mom. But she doesn't see it. Partially, I feel as though I'm grieving because the mom that raised me, the mom I could talk to about everything, is gone, and probably for good. I started watching your videos only recently, and so much of the BS these grifters say reminds me of what my mom repeats. But she insists that no one is changing her. She's changing herself. She believes that because they told her so. So it's not them, of course. It's all her. And if something happens or doesn't, it's on her too. It's your mindset. So I guess my mindset exists outside of time and made me born with 2 autoimmune diseases, and my 26-year-old brother got leukemia when he was 6. So if you found my message and read the whole thing, thank you. I needed to vent to someone who knows a little bit about this industry of Delulu land. Delulu land. We love it here. No, we don't. We hate it. I think I've processed my own trauma from my childhood and stuff with my father, and I never felt like it affected me, so I never felt like I needed therapy, as I was content, happy, and on the right track with my life. However, recent problems with my health, along with thinking more about my mom, especially because I can't see her every day and don't know what's happening at home, make me believe that I need therapy now. Again, I don't have the money right now, but eventually I'll have to go. Writing to you feels like a step in the right direction, doing something, anything. So thank you for reading this, but also for your content and the awareness that people need so they don't become victims. Thank you so much if you're watching this video for submitting this story. I think that this was a really incredible example of the impact that this type of behavior, these type of high control groups, this type of sort of like toxic positivity environment, the impact that that can have not only on the individual who has fallen victim, but also their family and their friends and the people around them. Because much like you shared in the story, a lot of the times when we're in these environments, we're told things like,
when you start to change, the people around you are going to judge you.
and they're just going to be upset because I believe you said they want to keep the broken version of you, or the fact that you're bettering yourself is triggering to them. We hear that kind of narrative a lot. And I think now, as someone who was once in the industry and is now pretty far separated from it, I really think that that's a control tactic to get you to stay in, to continue to want coaching, to continue to invest in mentors, to continue to try and better yourself. You're led to believe that there's always something that you could be working on. And if people around you are judgmental of that, it's because they don't want to work on themselves. The fact that you're putting in the work is triggering for them, and that you need to tune them out, isolate yourself, and only focus on what you're being told here in the group. It's very cult-like behavior. I've covered it in a 3-part series here if you've missed that. And I think it's incredibly dangerous when you're in it and you can't see it, to be isolating yourself from your friends, isolating yourself from your family. And it makes me so sad to hear from someone who isn't the actual like victim in this scenario. I hate to use that word, but I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. It's just painful because it just goes to show that like there isn't just one victim in this scenario. It kind of has a ripple effect on the entire community. And so I guess I really just want to say that like your feelings of grief and of loss are totally valid in this scenario, because having to watch someone you love submit to these kind of beliefs and this kind of behavior must be incredibly difficult to deal with. And again, I really just want to thank you for taking the time to share your story with me, with the channel. I think that having these conversations is super pivotal in helping people normalize their experiences, whether they are the ones who are directly in the coaching industry or, like your example, they are the relative of someone who has fallen victim. There's just so much manipulation and guilt and shame that is happening in the space, and it's all being sort of masked or disguised as personal development or self-improvement. And I think that that can make it really hard for anyone to want to question what is going on here. Like, how could it possibly be bad if I'm working on bettering myself? And so I think it would make it really difficult for you to be able to get through to someone who thinks that they're doing what's best for them, because they don't have that sort of third-party outside perspective to see the harm that's actually taking place. And so, much to the last point of your message, I don't have any specific advice for you. I'm glad that you have found the channel, obviously, and that my content has been helpful for you. If anyone watching has words of wisdom they would like to share, the comment section is open to do so. And of course, if you're watching and you have an experience that you would like to share, you can do so in the form linked down below. Be sure to consider giving this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I will leave you on screen here with the story of a woman who paid $5,000 for 30 minutes of coaching. That's it for today. Take care, comb your hair, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!